Hello guys, welcome back to my channel, the beautiful stitches. I love you all. You're welcome back once again. Today we'll be making a very simple gown with this fabric, Ankara fabric. As you can see, my fabric is on fold. That's the front panel and the back panel. All right, so I'll be using this other fabric to turn the neck and to put a front deep pocket, single deep pocket. All right, if you're new to this channel, please, before leaving, don't forget to click on the subscribe button beneath the screen, touch the notification bell to always get notified anytime I upload my videos. All right, so let's get started to today's business. So we'll be marking out our horizontal our vertical measurement. This is my baseline, and every measurement we are taking starts from the baseline. So let's impute our vertical measurements. All right, from the shoulder down to the waist we have 14.5, that is 14.5 inches. Okay, from our shoulder down to our hips we have 24. All right, let's mark it out clearly. And from the shoulder down to the hem of our gown, the full length of our gown is 39. Okay, so we'll be marking out 39 plus folding allowance. I'll be adding 1.5 inch folding allowance. This is 39, and I'll be adding 1.5 inch folding allowance, which is 40.5. Okay, so let's mark it out. All right, so what we do now is to draw it out into a straight line. Okay, so let's impute our horizontal measurements. Okay, so we have our 3 inches standard neck measurement, which I'm marking out now. Okay, and also our shoulder is 15 inches. 15 divided by 2, we have 7.5. So I'm marking out 7.5 here. All right, we'll come down by 1 inch for the shoulder slope, and then connect it down to the 3 inches standard neck measurement. Okay, all right, then let's measure out the armhole. The armhole is 17 divided by 2, we have 8.5. okay, let's mark out 8.5, and we'll draw it into a straight line. This now becomes the upper bust line. Let's draw it to a straight line, and then connect it from the 1 inch shoulder slope down to the upper bust line, so that we can draft out our armhole. All right, so we locate the midpoint of this line. This is 8.5, and the midpoint is 4.25. Okay, let's mark it out. Come in by ½ inch to get the front armhole, and then connect with your ruler, your curve ruler. Okay, down to the midpoint, and then from the midpoint you curve it down to the shoulder to the armhole line, which is the upper bust line. And then for the back armhole, you connect it straight, okay, with the curve ruler. So this is our armhole. Our armhole is ready. This is our front armhole and our back armhole. So what we do now is to impute the horizontal measurement. Our bust is 38. 38 divided by 4, we have 9.5, which is here. So I'll be adding 1 inch for ease and 1 inch for sewing allowance. Okay, just like as I'm doing it, I'll be adding 1 inch seam allowance. Okay, let's go over to the waist. The waist is 35. 35 divided by 4, we have 8.75. That's 838. So this is our point of, this is the, okay, this is 838. All right, so adding 1 inch ease and 1 inch for seam allowance, that is 2 inches. Okay, this is the point. And then the hips, we have 40 inches. 40 divided by 4, we have 10 inches. So let's mark out our 10 inches. Okay, exactly. So we'll also add about 2 inches, 1 inch for ease and 1 inch for seam allowance. So whatever I have on the hips line, what I will impute on the hem line, because I want it to be a straight and simple gown. Okay, so we have 12 inches. All right, so let's connect the lines together before we cut. Okay, all right, so what we do now is to impute our ½ inch on the shoulder line. So we go up by ½ inch, which is the seam allowance for the shoulder line, just like as I'm doing. And then for the front neckline, I'll be going down by 4.5 inches. Okay, here is 4.5 inches. And remember, I'll be adding 3 inches slit from that point downward. This is to enable the gown to pass through our head, because there will be no zipper allowance. So let's connect it to the shoulder line. Okay, all right. And then also for the back neckline, I'll be coming down by 1.5 inches. Okay, then connect it down to the shoulder line also using your curve ruler. Make sure your curve is neat. Okay, just like I have here. This is the front neckline and the back neckline. Remember, I'll be adding 3 inches slit in the front. Okay, so let's cut out our fabric. Okay, all right, this is the upper part. So what we do is to cut out the front armhole and also the neckline. Okay, so let's cut it out. All right, okay, so this is our front armhole and our back armhole, and this is our front neckline and our back neckline. So let's remove the pin. Now we are cutting out the sleeve. For video on how to cut a perfect sleeve, I'll drop the link in the description box. Okay, so my sleeve length is 10, and I'll be adding ½ inch folding allowance, but I'll be using the other fabric to fold, and my cap's height is 338. So let's draw it out into a straight line and mark out our sleeve. Okay, here is our sleeve. Let's cut it out. For tutorial on how to draft out a sleeve pattern, visit my channel. Here is our sleeve. So we'll cut out the front armhole. Okay, let's cut out the front armhole. All right, so the next thing is to place the sleeve on the other fabric and cut out the folding. All right, so now we want to cut out the neck facing. So we'll place our front bodice on the other fabric, then trace. Okay, so trace the neck line, and remember we have 3 inches slit in the front to enable the fabric, our gown pass through our head. So we mark out, and I'll be marking out 2.5 inches round the neck. Okay, so let's connect the lines. Okay, 3 inches for the slit, and then 6 inches. Remember, ½ inch to fold it on the front bodice. Okay, let's cut it out. Okay, so this is what it looks like. As you can see, we place the right side facing the wrong side. Then we'll stitch half inch on the neckline and then turn it the other way, give it a good press, and then stitch half inch. So let's cut out the back neck facing. We'll also measure out 2.5 inches round. So let's trace out the neckline first. Okay, remove the fabric and then mark out 2.5 inches round. Okay, curve it out. Okay, so let's cut it out. Remember, we'll go up by half an inch. If there's any excess, you trim it off at the end of your sewing. Okay, so this is the folding for the sleeve. So use it to turn the sleeve. So we'll also mark out 2.5 inches for the sleeve folding. Okay, so let's place our fabric properly and mark out 2.5 inch. Remember, 2 inch, half inch for sewing allowance, and then the remaining 2 inch we'll turn it over on the front, on the right side of the fabric, and then stitch on it. Okay, let's mark out the length of our round sleeve and then place our fabric, draw it out into a straight line. Okay, so place our fabric, our sleeve on the other fabric. Okay, measuring out the round sleeve. Remember, the fabric is on fold, so cut it out now. Okay, so let's cut it out. Cut it out following the original measurement of the sleeve. Okay, let's trim it properly. Remember, we'll be using this same folded fabric to cut out another piece for the second sleeve. This is for the first sleeve, and for the second sleeve we'll still use the same fabric to cut it out. Okay, this is how it looks like. All right, so I'll be folding, place it this way, then stitch half inch and then turn it on the right side of the sleeve. Okay, as you can see. So I'll use this piece to cut out another of this same fabric for the second sleeve. All right, so this is the hem of our gown. So I'll be cutting out the fabric we'll be using to turn it. Okay, so our length is 39, so that is the length of our gown. So what I'll do now, I'll go up by 3 inches from the open end of the gown and then make a curve from that 3 inches down to the hem line. You can make it a freehand curve or you can use your curve ruler. Okay, but make sure the curve is neat. Then curve from that 3 inches point down to the hem line of your gown, just the way I'm doing it. Okay, this is very easy for folding. All right, this is very easy for folding. Okay, so what we do next now, is to mark out 1.5 inch. Let me be sure it's up to 1.5 inch. Okay, we'll mark out 1.5 inch from that open end down to the center front of the fabric. Okay, let's be sure it's 1.5 inch at this other end too. Okay, it's 1.5 inch. So we'll mark 1.5 inch from that end down. Okay, also curve it out properly. This method is very easy for folding. All right, so what we do now, we cut out the excess and then we'll cut from the hem line. down to the curve that we made. Remember, we'll be using this to turn the hem of our gown. Okay, with this method, when you fold your gown, you don't need to start cutting or making adjustments. It just fits properly. Okay, so let's also cut out the hem line. So this is now the new hem line, so we'll cut it following the curve. Okay, cut gently following the curve down to the open end of the fabric, just the way I'm doing it. All right, as you can see, we have our piece of material that we'll be using to fold the end of our gown. As you can see, is well fitted. Okay, so what we do is to spread it out. Use one piece for the front and one piece for the back. Place the right side facing the right side, just the way I'm doing it, and then pin from the beginning to the end and stitch 1 inch, and stitch 1/2 inch, and then turn it round and fold it on your fabric. Okay, so this is our neck facing. What to do is to hold it 1/2 inch on the neckline and then fold it and give it a good press and stitch it on the front of on the right side of the gown. Okay, as you can see, this is the hem of our gown. You can see this method is very easy. So what to do now, you just stitch round from that end 1/2 inch down to the other end, and then you make a fold. Okay, give it a good press it down, and then you also, if you want to top stitch, you do, and then stitch round again, folding it inward. This is for the front neckline. Remember, we'll make a slit, 3 inches slit, for it to be able to pass freely on our head. Okay, yeah, that's a 3 inches slit down, and then we hold from the neckline, from the shoulder line down to the neckline and the slit, and then turn it over. The same thing applies to the front bodice too. This is our sleeve. Okay, just like I said before, you place the other fabric at the end of the sleeve, stitch it by 1/2 inches, and then give it a good press and turn it over. All right, okay, and turn it this way. Okay, as you can see. All right, so this is how it will look like after sewing. Okay, just take a look at it. This is how it will look like after sewing. I'll sew on top of the other fabric. So this is for the pocket. The same thing I did for the sleeve is also the same thing I'll do for the pocket. The pocket is 9.5 inches by 10 inches. Okay, so I'll sew on this end of the pocket and then fold this other fabric on the pocket and stitch on top of it. Okay, as you can see, that is what I'll do. That is how it will look like on the gown. Okay, this is the end of our tutorial. Thanks for watching till the end. Please, before leaving, click the subscribe button and touch the notification bell to always get notified anytime I upload my video. See you in my next tutorial. Bye bye.